Okay. In the last class, we have seen the previous uh, unit. We have seen different levels of testing and different types of testing. In different levels of testing, we have seen unit testing, then integration testing, then system testing. Another type of testing, that is alpha testing and beta testing, also we have seen, wherein alpha testing is testing at the development site and beta testing is the testing at the client side. Then we have seen different types of testing, that is black box testing and white box testing. That also in the last class we have seen uh, different type of configuration testing, low level configuration testing and high level configuration testing. uh, so testing, as far as we have seen all the types of testing. Now in today's class we will start uh, with we will start with test planning, management, execution and reporting, uh, which is in unit 3. So, as far as testing is concerned, it is like an project. So for project we need to plan. Similarly, in testing also we need to have some plan, right? And the testing must be driven by some plan. If you don't plan your testing, then it may happen that you will not left with enough time to test a particular software properly. And if you don't test a particular software properly, it is likely to fail in production. And the cost which occurs when a particular software fails in production is very high. So, in order to test a system properly, we need to have some plan, right? So, test plan acts as an anchor for execution, tracking, and reporting of entire testing project. So you need to report also whenever you want to show something. And again, the testing is more or less concerned with the quality of your product. And whatever software you have developed, you assure quality of that particular software by testing. So you need to report that particular testing properly as well, right? So testing is is a process wherein you will check the quality of your, or you assure the quality of your software, right? So before testing you need to answer some of the questions. So first question will be, what needs to be tested? You have software, some requirement, right? So you need to first see what is the scope of your project, what you want to test, right? So the scope of testing you need to decide, including clear identification of what will be tested and what will not be tested. So you need to properly see the scope of your project or testing, what you want to test and what you don't want to test, that you need to decide. Second question is how the testing is going to be performed. Right? How you will test a particular software. Generally testing, as we say, testing starts with the development of the project. Right from the beginning of the project you start testing it. Right? So you need to make plan for it. Actually how you will test, whether you will break that particular project into smaller units and then test each of them independently. Right? So next question is what resources are needed for the test? What will be the configuration of your computer? What human resources you will require to execute those particular test cases? Right? Set of test cases. Next question you need to ask is what is the timeline by which the testing activity should be performed. Right? So, what is the time period given for the testing? And lastly, what are the risks that may be faced in the schedule? What type of risks are there that you need to identify? Right? So, for preparing a test plans, you need to see what is the need of the test, how the tests are going to happen, what resources are needed for the testing, what is the timeline for testing, and what are the risks which are covered while you are testing. So first thing is scope. So scope management pretends to specify the scope of the project. For testing, scope management entails understanding what constitute a release of a product. First, you need to check. You will not deliver whole of the project at once. So you need to see what you need to deliver at what point of time. So that's why you need to see what are the deliverables which you need to provide at a particular time, right? And depending upon that, you need to test. Again, breaking down the releases into features. Features. Number of features you need to break the whole software into different features, and you need to deliver it accordingly. Then prioritize the features for testing. You need to prioritize the features for testing, deciding which feature will be tested and which will not be tested at a particular time. Then gather details to prepare for estimation of resources for testing. It is always good to start from the end goal or product release perspective and get a holistic picture of the entire product to decide the scope and priority of the test. Usually during the planning stage of the release, the features that constitute the release are identified. Right? So you need to backtrack what are the deliverables you need to see, and according to that you need to plan for testing. Right? The following factors drive the choice and priority of the feature to be tested. How you can test a particular feature? So you can prioritize the feature depending upon the following criteria. First one is features that are new and critical for the release. You need to test those features first which are new and critical for the release. Why you want to test the new features first? Because there is likely to have bugs. It is new, right? So you need to test it first. When you buy something new, you test it first, right? You don't taste your old clothes, right? You taste the new clothes, how it will look, right? So that's how. So whenever new features are there, you need to test it. And if some critical feature is there, that also you need to test. Right? For example, consider a banking system. In the banking system, the entries which are there for the customer is of less important as compared to the transactions, right? So if the business logic for the transaction fails, whole of the system get failed. So this type of new or critical features you need to test first. Next, feature whose failure can be catastrophic. Catastrophic means which generates failure for another functionalities. If some central feature is there, if it gets failed, then other features will also not work fine. That is called as catastrophe. For example, in the previous example only, I have said that the entry system is less important than the transaction. But consider one scenario where a customer number or account number is paid wrong. In that case, what will happen? If you do transaction, that will again fail or there is bug for it, right? So one functionality, that is entering the customer information, and second transaction are interrelated. If one fails, other will get failed. So this type of feature you need to test first. Features that are expected to be complex to test. And the features which are considered to be complex, that you need to test first. Features which are extension of earlier features that had been defect prone. Previously you have scenario for testing, right? Earlier experience that the system gets failed at a particular, or this is a defect prone area, so you need to test that area first, right? So if any defect prone area is there, you need to test it first. Now next is deciding test approach or strategy. Once you have created the list of features to be tested, you can now go in more details and find out how you can test it. How you can divide a particular thing into different smaller chunk of tasks to be tested. Now you can estimate the size, efforts and schedule required for this testing. We have seen earlier in the software testing what we mean by size, schedule, efforts. Right? Size and efforts we have seen. Right? Size, line of code. Right? Size, how you can measure a size of a particular software. Right? So in COCOMO model we have seen, right, kilo lines of code that indicate the size. Another parameter for size is your functional points. How many functional points are there? Different functions are there, and for that different functional points are there in your software that you can measure. Another measuring factor for size is your number of pages or functionalities which you want to create. That can be estimate for size for a software. Here also same thing, how many test cases you can have to perform the testing, that can be a size. Next one is efforts. Efforts can be measured in person month. You have already done in COCOMO model, right? So efforts can be done in person month. How many persons are required in how many months? You cannot reduce the number of months by increasing the number of persons. We will see when we will see the scheduling, right? Because if uh, some interdependent uh, activities may be there, right? So because of interdependent activities we cannot reduce months by increasing the persons, right? Then scheduling is scheduling of the task which you want to perform, right? Like in perth chart we have seen, right? Yeah, or critical path method, right? CPM, we have seen how the scheduling is done. So, and to decide a strategy, it includes to identify type of testing to be done. So which type of testing you will require, whether it may be black box testing, white box testing, or it may be manual testing, automated testing, which type of testing you want to do. That again, if you go for automated testing, will it reduce the time and effort, or will it increase the time and effort? That also you need to see. Then next is the configuration or the scenario for testing. What type of configuration you need, and what will be the scenario? Scenario means input data and what will be the output for a particular thing. And so that is configuration and scenario. Next, what type of integration testing you will be using to ensure these features work together. How you will integrate all of the testing, and how the how will you integrate, or how will you do integration testing, that also you need to decide. Next is what localization validations would be needed. What validations you will require, right, uh, for a particular functionality, that also you need to check. And what non-functional test would you need to do? What type of non-functional testing you will? Next point is setting up criteria for testing. So we have already seen uh, there must be entry and exit criteria for the testing. Right? Sometimes testing may get suspended and then again restarted. Right? If certain uh, issues are handled, it get again revoked. Right? So you need to clearly have the entry and exit criteria for different phases of testing, which we have already seen. What will be the entry? Yeah. Since we have already discussed that testing is unending process, right? you can start at any point of product development testing at any point, and you can stop at any point, but what minimal testing you need to do for a particular software, that you need to decide. So you need to, it depends upon different parameters, what limited functionality you want to check, what are the immediate requirements of the client. Also it may depend upon the um, management policy for testing a particular software, right? So depending upon that, you may have an entry and exit criteria for different phases of testing. Test cycle or a test activity will not be isolated continuous activity that can be carried out at one go, right? So our testing is not individual task, or it is not a continuous activity that can be carried out uh, at one go. It needs to have different cycles. It may have to be suspended at various point of time because it is not possible to proceed further. Sometimes testing activity you need to suspend, and it is resumed whenever the particular issue has been resolved, right? So some of the typical suspension criteria are that more than a certain number of defects are encountered, right? So in a particular software you are encountering more number of defects than the minimum which you have, than the threshold which you have decided. So you need to stop over there and uh, again report for that bug, and redevelopment will be done, and again you will start the testing. Hitting some uh, showstoppers. Showstopper means if, for example, if there is any mistake in database, or the query are not properly interpreted, so in that case it is a showstopper. Showstopper means which can the bug which may cause your software to fail. It's called as showstopper. So if you get a major bug, you need to stop testing. Developers releasing a new version, if already you are testing on the older version and new version is releasing, you need to stop it. When such conditions are addressed, the testing can resume. So you need to define the entry criteria for the testing, you need to decide exit criteria for the testing. Then you need some of the time the um, the testing can get suspended due to more number of bugs or a critical bug or new release, and when you resolve those uh, issues you will start retesting. Then next point is identifying responsibilities, staffing and training needed. Clearly, when you identify what you need to test, you need to identify the uh, staff required for it. That means how much efforts are required, that you need to identify, and you need to identify the staff which are uh, which are trained for it. If they are not trained, you need to train them to test a particular. So what you need to do is you need to identify responsibility, staffing and training needed. The testing project require different people to play different roles, like test engineer, test lead, and test manager. These different roles should complement each other. Right? They should work in tandem with each other. Otherwise, clashes will be there and you will not work proper. That's why uh, one of the uh, one of the required or most required qualification or skills for today's employee is to work in teams. How you are working in teams, that is identified, right? The different role definition should ensure there is a clear accountability for a given task, right? So there must be a clear accountability, means who is responsible for a particular task that you need to identify, and otherwise everybody will blame to each other, and it was his responsibility and I am not responsible for what has been done. Okay, so you need to find out who is the responsible person for a particular task. Next is clearly list the responsibility for various functions to various people, so that everyone knows how his or her work fit into the entire project. Everybody should be given some responsibility, and so that we can work for the allotted work. Complement each other, ensure no one steps on another toes. Right? This is more or less happen everywhere, right? Uh, people do not want to work in with each other. Right? So whatever team has been decided should complement each other. The members of the team should complement each other, supplement each other, so that no risk is left aside. Okay. So we will stop here. Anybody has any doubt, you can ask. We will stop here. In the next class, we will continue.